Hey, the internet, y'all got us all the way up. We met that dude, Duke the Jeweler, the night before. We was gambling. The next day, dude followed us to the concert. When we left out the concert, we under the garage. Dude went to his car by himself and walked down to the parking lot. That's when somebody tried.
One that's tied to the dude that makes the loaded dice. Right? Check the play out. All entertainers, when you go to Houston, stay away from J. Prince Jr. The whole play going on. Here go the play right here. The play is the loaded dice.
Blood-soaked dice tumbled across the velvet table. Faces were grinning, but only one man was ever walking out of there alive. Duke, the flashy jeweler, didn't leave this world broke. He left it trapped in a den of wolves. Now Mob Ty's hands are dripping in suspicion, and the feds are locked in on it. Duke wasn't some random robbery victim. This was an execution, straight up. And it wasn't no masked creeps in a back alley either. This all went down after Duke stepped out of Boogie's dice game with folks who were dapping him up one second and maybe sending signals the next. Now, them same folks are feeling the feds breathing down their necks, and 50 Cent is adding gas to the flames, dropping receipts, reposting secrets, and hinting this setup was way bigger than anybody thought. And here's where it gets even messier. This is straight up movie-level madness. Just 2 weeks before Takeoff got killed in a dice game gone wrong. Duke was the one shutting down the table at J. Prince Jr.'s game. And when the wrong dude starts racking up wins, that's when the whole vibe flips and chaos kicks in. Now the whole Mob Ties crew is sitting under a microscope. Boosie, J. Prince Jr., Lil Cam, everybody's name is ringing out. What started off as low-key whispers is turning into full-blown warnings. But how did it even get to this point? Let's pull back. Because what looked like some harmless dice game was maybe a setup from the jump. From the outside, Duke the Jeweler was living large. A Chicago hustler, self-made, built his empire from scratch. Duke wasn't just pushing iced-out chains to random SoundCloud rappers. He was creating masterpieces for big players, real money clientele, and his name was buzzing heavy in the industry. He didn't pull up to Houston for a little getaway. He came chasing a serious bag. Word is, Boosie personally called him down to talk about a custom piece. So Duke packed up that $1 million Louis duffel loaded with his finest jewelry designs and showed up ready to lock in. But what he didn't know was that this trip was going to be his final chapter. Now, let's zoom straight in on that dice game. Leaked audio from WAC 100, yeah, coming straight from the streets, makes it clear. This wasn't no innocent game of dice. This was a whole operation getting set up allegedly. And right in the middle of it, J. Prince Jr. Word on the streets, this whole thing was a straight-up loaded dice setup. They calling it a rigged ring now. And peep this, it's always the same three faces at that table. Lil Cam, Big Capri, and Wolf.
Some dudes tried to rob him. Some dudes tried to rob him. See, some dudes had tried to rob me and walked off by himself, man. I had just met dude yesterday.
The same crew passing the dice around like it's some secret street ritual. The house always eating. Unless somebody messes up the flow. Well, that night, somebody messed up bad. According to WAC, Duke got hold of the wrong set of dice. The ones that weren't meant for him. And guess what? They were loaded. Soon as he touched them, it was back-to-back wins. Hundreds, then thousands, then tens of thousands. Fast. And when somebody crashes a rigged game, the people behind it start sweating bullets. Now, here's where it gets extra grimy. Insiders are saying J. Prince Jr. allegedly pockets 30% off every dice night. So Duke wasn't just winning, he was snatching serious bread from their pockets. On top of that, Duke came in loud, confident, showing out heavy. He was drenched in diamonds, tossing racks like it was nothing, and flexing the whole thing on Instagram. Now this is where things get real sketchy. If you freeze frame that dice game footage, you'll catch Boosie letting out a soft whistle. Not loud, not wild, just enough. Right after that,
He must have walked outside to the parking lot. We was in the garage. We heard this, but it like they was far away in the parking lot. He must have went to his car or something. But dude was finna make a piece for him too. Dang.
his nephew snaps his head around and locks in on Duke. Then a dude in a red hoodie taps the nephew's arm, like a quiet little signal. And boom, the whole room vibe flips instantly. 1 minute Duke's cracking jokes, stacking chips, rolling dice. Next minute it feels like a silent countdown ticking down. And just minutes later, Duke is gone. This ain't no random vibe shift. This is body language screaming something's up. When you step in a room full of folks who already made up their minds about your fate, you can feel it in your bones. And here's what's crazy. Why would a millionaire like Boosie invite Duke, dripped in over $1 million in jewelry, into a dice game surrounded by people he couldn't fully vouch for, with zero security? Why didn't J. Prince Jr. have even basic protection lined up for a big-name out-of-towner flashing that much heat? It just don't add up. Let's run it back to the exact moment Duke dipped out of that dice game. No security, no entourage, no driver. Just Duke walking alone through a dark Houston parking lot after being surrounded by millions in cash and ice all night. If that sounds shady, it's because it is. But it don't stop there. It goes from suspicious to downright sinister in minutes. Gunshots ring out. Duke gets ambushed and shot dead. Now here's where things get real twisted. In most setups or robberies gone sideways, what's the first thing they grab? The jewelry, the cash. But Duke? He was found with everything still on him. Not a single chain snatched, not one watch missing. The same 7-figure jewelry he flexed at Boosie's concert right before the dice game was still on his body. But the real jaw-dropper?
The entertainer invites him in, act like he's covering for him, hanging out, everything is cool. Let's go here, let's go there, let's go here, let's go there. He introduces the dice game. He got 3 right, who rotate the dice. Now these dice is loading. Tell me it's a Wolf, Big Caprice.
That Louis Vuitton duffel Duke was carrying, the one packed with his most valuable, unreleased jewelry pieces. It didn't disappear. It turned up inside Boosie's house. Let that sink in. Houston PD confirmed it. Whether Duke trusted Boosie and handed over the bag for safekeeping, or Boosie scooped it up after everything went down, it's got people asking serious questions. We don't got all the answers, but one thing's clear. Duke's bag made it back to Boosie. Duke didn't. And Boosie's reaction? A shaky, nervous Instagram live from a private jet, claiming he barely knew Duke. Saying Duke just dipped on his own. Wait a minute. Didn't Boosie say Duke was making him a custom chain? So how you barely know him, but you invite him to a private dice game, then let him walk out alone, in the dark, rocking over $1 million in jewelry? Something's way off here. And Boosie's vibe? Not cool, not collected. Dude looked pale, stressed, like the guilt was leaking through the screen. And just when you think it couldn't get messier, it does. The feds, who were already lurking around Boosie's camp for other legal drama, decided to peel off Duke's case and make it its own special federal investigation. No delays, no distractions, just straight focus on what really went down with Duke that night. So the feds did what they do best. They tracked the phone. Duke's last phone ping? Right at Boosie's recording studio. Unless Duke's phone grew legs and strolled over there solo. Somebody from Boosie's crew brought it in. And they weren't even slick about it. Didn't wipe it, didn't smash it, just turned it off after that final ping. That's what got the feds fired up. Next up, they tore through Duke's rental car, forensic style, and boom, found fingerprints from Boosie's nephew and Boosie's cousin all up in there. And just when you think this story couldn't spiral any further, it does. A witness popped up, someone chilling outside the building smoking, and they told it straight. They saw Duke walking alone to his car. Everything seemed chill until Boosie's nephew crept out the shadows like he was waiting on it. Duke felt something was wrong. Allegedly, threw the first punch, tried to hold his ground, but it was too late. In one quick move, Boosie's nephew allegedly pulled the trigger. And here's the wildest part. They didn't even bother to fake a robbery. It was straight up execution vibes.
And watch this. And little Cam are the loaded dice rotators, right? He said what? There was a situation that occurred that a certain jeweler round and got past the dice on accident and was hitting on them for a couple hundred. They got irritated about that. I ain't gonna go too far into that story because
this wasn't about robbery, it was about shutting Duke up for good. And instead of making everything disappear, they kept the bag. That ain't sloppy. That's straight arrogance. And guess who else peeped the whole thing? 50 Cent. Ever notice how every time artists pull up to Houston, there's always that same low-key warning? Better check in. It ain't on paper, it ain't official, but it's real. Artists, influencers, even athletes, they all know the drill. Move through Houston without tapping in with J. Prince Jr. and that mob ties circle, and you're asking for trouble. But here's where it gets real cold. Nobody wants to talk about what happens when the very people you're supposed to check in with are the same ones lining you up for the setup. Let's be real clear. J. Prince Jr. was the one hosting that dice game. Duke showed up to his table, the same host running the game where Takeoff got killed too. And once Duke turned up dead, that whole check-in culture flipped from protection to straight-up suspicion. Because if J. Prince Jr. really ran the city like he claims, why are two people not making it out alive? Even Whack 100 couldn't hold his tongue. He called it out, called it a scam ring. Straight up said J. Prince Jr. plays the friendly role, lures entertainers in, makes them feel safe, then slides them right into a dice game where his own people got him boxed in. Now the streets are whispering. Some artists are quietly backing off, labels pulling out of Houston events, the whole scene turning toxic. Even 50 Cent's been turning up the pressure, reposting clips, throwing up captions that ain't even subtle, calling it like it is. Some folks say he's playing with fire. Others believe he's just the only one bold enough to speak out loud what everyone else is scared to admit. Word on the street, Boosie's feeling the heat big time. The feds are pressing hard, splitting this case away from his old gun charges and zeroing in on the night Duke lost his life. They're digging through everything, his mansions, his money trail, even his son's online moves. But the real fireworks might be coming from inside his own circle. Allegedly, Boosie's own girlfriend was overheard saying Boosie ran back inside that night, looking real sketchy, like he was hiding something. But out here, Boosie keeps acting like he knows nothing. That's the only story he keeps pushing. Now folks are asking, if Boosie goes down, who's he dragging with him? Because Boosie don't move solo. His nephew's tied in, his cousin's mixed up, and now his name's tangled with J. Prince Jr., who's already under major pressure after what went down with Takeoff. Everything's crossing over. All signs point back to that dice table. And it gets crazier. Finesse 2 times, the same artist Mob Ties once pushed heavy, is out here flipping. Went from shouting out J. Prince Jr. in interviews to barely saying his name. The switch up is loud. Something serious changed. At first, it looked like Finesse 2 times was just moving quiet. No more popping up around Junior, no concerts, no backstage vibes, just gone. Then the whispers started flying, and turns out, the whole fallout kicked off over a woman, but not just any woman, Finesse's own baby mama. A few months back, her and her moms allegedly set him up, called the cops, got him snatched up and tossed back in jail for a probation violation. And guess who came to the rescue? J. Prince Sr. himself. Word is, he made them behind-the-scenes calls and had Finesse back on the streets in 2 weeks. But instead of showing loyalty, Finesse went right back to the same woman who lined him up. That's when Sr. had enough. He jumped on Twitter, loud and direct, saying, "I told the homie to stay the FK away from that woman if he loves his life. But the homie wouldn't listen to my words, even after I had to step in and get him out of prison. Y'all better be careful out here thinking these women got your best interest at heart." And this is where it all gets way messier. The street's been buzzing. Heavy rumors flying that J. Prince Jr. might have gotten Finesse's girl pregnant, all behind his back. Is it confirmed? Nah. But the fact people even believe it, and Finesse ain't denying it, that speaks volumes. Some fans tried to write it off as gossip, but others started seeing the same messy pattern. JR got beef with Takeoff's family, drama bubbling with Boosie behind the scenes, and now Finesse spiraling out loud for everybody to see. People are asking, how many bridges can you burn before your whole empire goes up in smoke? Here's the cold truth. When your whole name is built on silence, fear, and power moves, it only takes one person to crack. One artist, one homie, one witness, and it all comes crashing down. Now the big question, who's gonna be first to talk? Will it be Boosie that breaks? Will Finesse finally air it out? Or will 50 Cent's nonstop campaign to expose mob ties push J. Prince Jr. to do the unthinkable, break the code, and save himself? Either way, it's already crumbling, and them quiet whispers are turning into loud knocks at the door. Behind the scenes, the feds are moving quiet but deep, digging through Boosie's whole estate, checking every mansion in Baton Rouge, every piece of land in Georgia, tracking every single dollar. This ain't just an investigation anymore. Boosie's officially under surveillance. And let's keep it real. This storm ain't only hitting Boosie. J. Prince Jr. is right in the middle too. The artists are pulling back. Labels are pulling out. This ain't no regular rap drama. This is full-blown Rico-level pressure. And with Duke's killer possibly caught on video, it's only a matter of time. All it takes is one clip leaking to TMZ or landing in the feds' hands. And when that footage hits, it's game over. If you want more raw breakdowns like this, make sure you smash that like button, hit subscribe, and stay locked in, because it's only getting crazier from here.